people start leaving Hawaii. But they do say things on TV publicly in Hawaii. They said 8 out of 10 people, 8 out of 10 Hawaiian people will have a lung problem or a respiratory problem before they die. So they're telling people straight out the air is toxic. You're stupid if you stay here, but nobody listens to that part. I'm not here to live till I'm 150. I should say 125. I mean, even that, no way. My body's even in a place already that I can't stand it. So the idea of these chemtrails, putting these chemicals in the air that affect the brain greatly, they're metals. Metals go to the brain. It causes Parkinson's and dementia. That's why children are starting to get it, and they never could. But to the poisoning of sugars, not real sugar, synthetic sugars, and every other thing they make you take, is making sure that you get sick, stay sick, and become sick. I could prove that by common sense. I don't have to prove it by science. Before the hours, I'll get into that real fast. I'm 65. When I was 10, all my friends and us, we would always party. What did we party on? Pizza, hamburgers, French fries, and soda. The average. And then spaghetti. That was the average meal for families where I lived and around me. Whenever we partied, that would be what we eat. And drank. Coca-Cola had Coke in it when we were little kids. You can mix it with an aspirin and get super high. And I mean, that happened in my school and graduation. I'm going to get into that part of it. But yeah, all my friends, the whole school, I lived in North Bergen, Gothenburg, Union City, West New York, Hoboken, all those towns. You could go to any school. And in the whole school, you're lucky if you saw 2 or 3 heavy people, overweight people. In the whole school. Any of them sick? No. Any of them have serious problems? No. I think I knew the one and the only child in the whole school that had some kind of problems with, he was allergic to everything. And he was always going to the doctor and couldn't go to school because he couldn't breathe and things like that. But in general, nobody was sick. Not with other things other than the measles and chickenpox and the mumps. So we didn't come down with these other horrible things now, or they weren't even around. And overweight, obesity, no such words. Sure, there's 1 or 2 here and there. And they might have had a gland problem and things like that. But it wasn't brought upon by food, which it is now. I tell you straight out. Any sugar other than real sugar is toxic to the body. It's unrecognized in the body. It destroys the body when it goes inside it. Now, I hate to throw all this together, but hydrogen peroxide and baking soda can save your life multiple ways. Raw unfiltered sugar, natural sugar. I use maple syrup. I don't want to get into the stories, but it's what I use. I tried to pull away from salt, which I did. Tried to pull away from sugar, it never happened. But when these chemicals go into the body doesn't know what to do with any of them. Here's the thing. They're trying to take away Oxycontin and those kind of chemical drugs from the body, while they replace them with other things that are dangerous to the body. There's very few prescriptions you can get that doesn't have a list of maybe 10 to 20 things that it can cause. How does the FDA and people judge things? Well, if we can get them to buy it, we'll give it to them. Because if you're taking a substance that's supposed to cure you of, to keep your blood from clotting, but it'll give you every other kind of disease, a sickness, or possibility of killing you. But that's okay. How does that make sense? How is it legal to sell us a drug that's not beneficial if it's going to destroy the other parts of my body? It's a doctor treats you for what you have and what else he can give you. That's how the medical world got so big, making so much money. and keeping everybody in a hospital or sick. But that has nothing to do with aliens. But then again, there's a reason behind everything the government does. There's a reason why there's something behind what every alien race does. Pills, medicines are all toxic to the body. I'm lucky in one way. My body became pretty immune to many things. I mean, I made it to 65. I don't think there's another person on this planet that could live through my diet and live through what I did. I play with asbestos almost every day for 5 years with my hands, molding it into a putty and then packing it around pipes and things like that. Fire dancing for almost 35 years. I swallowed so much gasoline, which is a toxic poison that does not come out of your body after you swallow it. You can't take something to flush it out of your body. It goes into your body and stays there until you die. All right. So is it good or bad? That was a bad thing. But during that time frame, I went to depression a lot because I see things, I know things, and then people don't listen or don't care. So it was hard. And what I'm going to say is when I depression, I didn't want to live. That's what happens when you get depressed. During those time frames, I tried many different things. I had a suicide on my hands, me. The doctor said it would have killed 5 elephants, what I took. So, again, I work with spirit, but spirit protects me no matter how bad or stupid I am at any given moment. Will it stop one day? Yes, when it lets me go. But when we talk about our bodies and what aliens want, their bodies are different than ours. So to assume they would want us to grow the right vegetables, the right fruit, create the right environment. Reptilian race needs a radioactive environment. And I think that's why they're making the planet radioactive. Just my viewpoint. Don't have to accept it, believe it or not. But there is a reason. And you need to try to find what that reason is. And who's going to tell you? Nobody. Until an alien says that, well, I'm going to contaminate this planet so I can breathe here. Yes, they're terraforming the planet for a reason. Chemtrails are being sprayed on the planet to destroy the ground itself. The bacteria that lived in the dirt are dead already. Any vegetable you eat, any fruit you eat from the ground outside in a farm or a field, whatever, that dirt's been vacuumed of its bacteria. The bacteria died. So when a plant tries to absorb things out of the soil, it can't. So everything you eat, the vitamins it had than 50 years ago. And that's provable. If you want to. A greenhouse is, the hydroponics farming is a lot safer because they don't use dirt. And they have filtered air at a certain temperature. But then again, the second it's picked and put outside, it's exposed to the air. And if it's vacuum packed inside the place, which it isn't, it could be, say, completely organic. When you have a case of a bushel of pears, blueberries, anything, and you walk through the hallway, you go outside to put it in your truck, it's exposed to radiation, it's exposed to energy, vibration, and everything else. And to say it's organic, the chemicals that are in the air are toxic at some level, not where it's going to kill you unless you're 80, 90 years old. But, so there's nothing really safe. Now people say, well, it's organic, I'm okay to eat it. Well, I look at Paul McCartney's wife, really sad. She was one of the most healthiest people as far as diet and all that. She died how young. So assuming you pick the right foods, eat the right foods is one thing. Now, I wasn't going to go into this, but I will. Spiritual is something that you can move into. If you become spiritual, I'm not going to say a healer is spiritual. I don't agree with that. But if you become spiritual, you can heal yourself. You can purify the things in your body. See, a person that goes to a healer gives that energy over to the person that's doing the work. So that person really doesn't have it. He's only feeding you back your own energy. But as far, like Jesus said, you have faith, you're healed. I don't have to touch you. So, again, we have a lot of abilities if we're an aware being. Like I said, I took in more poisons, toxins than probably most people. When I was younger, I could say I probably had more salt than anybody else. I poured it on everything I ate. When I was little, I used to take a hard-boiled egg and take the yolk out, fill it with salt, and eat it. Seriously. So I don't think too many people could live through that. Drinking gasoline while they're going through it, touching. I even tried, what's that plant that killed Socrates, or what was it? Poisonous plant. I ate a whole giant branch of it. Didn't do a thing to me. So there's a lot of things that go on when your body is vibrating at a different level. I mean, my body's deteriorating, but soul within itself is strong enough to keep it going until it needs to do what it needs to do, period. When that's over, I will just instantly leave. It's not about somebody trying to poison me or things like that, because it can't happen. An unaware person, I mean, it's the so-called spiritual people that lived in history. Many of them were poisoned and died. I know 2 different ones in Eckankar that were poisoned. One of them died a year later. The other one went crazy for a while. And so, there's a lot of things people with things going on inside the body. But it's all controlled. Your mind's being blocked from becoming aware, being programmed to stay here and suffer and die, which is, what can I say? People aren't looking at the facts or deal with them. I want to try to get back to the other scenario. I don't want to go into food anymore, or poisons or toxins, because this world's pretty contaminated. People that say they have children in space or on other planets. I know it's true, and I have a lot of proof on that, direct proof that I saw and worked with. So, do I want to come down on it? No. But who's it helping? It's not helping us. I know the families that I know that lost their children will never see their children again. They were told that straight out. They were allowed to see them one time. Now we got these clones and drones and all these names that they're giving people that are partially real, partially this, partially that, part alien, part human, part animal, whatever. Where are they going? What are they doing for the planet? We got people that say they're the watchers that are hanging out here, watching us. Watching us what? Screw each other up to the max with food, poisons, and beating each other up, stealing, and sexual abuse, and all those other words. Can we move forward? Can we get away from that? No, we can't. Man, truthfully, is an animal. We perceive we're better because we can think better than they can, because we don't know what they think. I have a dog. I have him for 2 years. I think he's incredibly smart. He knows when I'm talking to him. And he makes these faces telling me that he knows. I mean, certain words he knows right away. And they say dogs can't understand words. Of course they can. I mean, not the words in the dictionary, but the sound of a word, the vibration of it, what it means to them. So, are they intelligent? Of course they are. Are we have enough intelligence to teach them better? That I won't say yes. Same as a monkey. A monkey can only learn a certain amount of words. They can only do certain things. But when they spent years and years with a dolphin, they found out a dolphin can learn 150 words. And that has been closed off. The government was killing dolphins for 10 years straight, 10,000 a year. And the trainer of Flipper told me that directly. Because I went to see Flipper when I was younger, and then later in life, now he's trying to help the dolphins from being slaughtered by the Philippines and the Japanese. But we're sick-minded people. Getting back to we're animals. What is the most important thing to any man on this planet? If you're a woman, you can't answer that. Well, you can say what you think, and you'll probably be right.